What's good? It's your guy John Givez, and you're watching Mwendo Radio Backstage.
Everybody lends an ear. I wanna thank you in advance for letting us make it clear to y'all on the Mwendo Radio Show.
DJ Mwendo, we live at Legacy with the Dream Junkies. What's up, fellas?
What up?
Chilling.
Mr. Mwendo. We've done a lot of interviews, but we've never had all three of y'all in the same place at the same time.
Never.
This is a moment right here.
This is a moment.
It's a moment.
It's an interesting moment, man. How y'all doing, though?
Doing great.
Good?
I'm doing great.
Well, I'm a little tired.
A little tired?
A little bit.
A little jet lag?
A little bit. Yeah.
Y'all been doing a lot of shows lately, huh?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Y'all always on that show grind, though.
Yeah.
It seems like y'all got a tour like every other week, though. Like a new tour.
Yeah. We stay busy. You know, we toured with the Do For One album.
Yeah.
We did a West Coast tour, and then now we're just gearing up for John's So Rebel tour, which is gonna be super cool. We're fired up about that, man. And do a West Coast leg too.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah. It seems like I think people is really getting with y'all's movement at this point, bro.
Yeah, it feels that way.
They slept for a minute, you know what I'm saying? We was- like when we come after your dreams and you ain't really got no choice but to wake up. You know?
That's good.
Bully.
I see what you did there.
You see that?
That's funny, man. That's funny. Let's talk about John's album, man. New record coming out, man.
Yeah, man.
What can people expect from it, bro?
Madness.
Madness?
Madness. Madness. I read a quote that said, there is no greatness without madness. So
Okay.
you can expect madness, but in the midst of it,
Greatness?
yeah, for a greater good,
Okay.
you know. So yeah, man.
What's the concept behind it, man?
It's more so just a chronological story of how I got to this point. It's kind of a self-titled album. For me, I feel like it's my debut. I think that a lot of it deals with internal conflict throughout my whole life. And then me finally realizing that I can use my internal conflict for a greater good, because it's like me pulling out the purposes in my heart. You know what I mean? So the whole record is pretty much talking about what I was trained up to do, and then what I kind of just fell into and all that, and then how that all came together to merge to make this like madman.
Internal conflict. This is good, evil?
Yeah, internal conflict, good, evil, evilly good, or good for the purpose of evil, you know, just learning how to do the right things the wrong way, or learning how to do the wrong things the right way, you know what I'm saying? Like all that. And being fully consciously aware of everything through all that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, the whole album is just reality for that kid, you know, that's consciously aware of everything he's doing right, everything he's doing wrong, and his intent behind why he does right and wrong.
Yeah.
You know.
Man, y'all put so much thought into the concept of y'all's albums, man.
I think it comes naturally just from I think living life together and just like kind of talking about what's going on with ourselves, you know, with like men's group and stuff like that, where it's not even super thought out like, oh yeah, this is how it's gonna happen. It's just what we're kind of talking about at the time.
Where you at the time?
Yeah.
So this So Rebel, you feel like this is like, it's gonna be like a defining album for you?
Yeah. I felt like Four Seasons, the way I saw it, I knew that Four Seasons wasn't my debut, but you know, it had too many songs on it to be an EP. But I wanted to call it that for the purpose of just knowing that it wasn't my debut. It was just me trying to figure out who I'm supposed to be as an artist still, but more importantly as a person. So it was like a pastime, whereas this right here is like very intimate in the fact that like I'm like interwoven within every song of this album. You know what I'm saying? It's not just songs where it's like, oh yeah, this is politically correct to do. You know, it's my life story.
Yeah. How did you guys contribute to his new record creatively? Like, were y'all hands on with this, hands off?
I think to let John be John is just the best way to allow something to pop off. You know what I'm saying?
Just let him do it.
Yeah, because you know, you leave him alone with some producers and you know, he starts bobbing his head and dancing, and next thing you know, you got a dope track. You know what I mean? So just allowing him to be him, and just kind of standing back and just, hey, wherever you need me, I'm here. You know, a lot of people submitted stuff, I think, you know what I mean? But I think the stuff that's really spoke to him, spoke to his soul, is what made the album, you know? So what do you think, Ru?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is learning our own processes and what's sufficient for everybody, because what works for me may not work for John, what works for John may not work for Belief. And a lot of what I do is like kind of the project management of making sure, hey, like, when do you want to put the album out? Okay, so in order to get it out this date, you got to have it done by this, you know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. I did some co-production on it. Obviously Belief is on it. I'm on it. And then I'm co-mixing the whole record with Anthony Cruz, who's amazing producer in his own right, but his ability to bring the tracks alive. So he's pretty much mixing all the tracks. And he's doing some production. I'm mixing all the vocals, and then you got DJ Rec, you got Jay Ruckers, Larray, Major, all contributing really good beats, man. And a lot of it, again, like Belief said, is like when John vibes, and when the song flows out of him and he comes back the next day with a full song, then you know that's special.
Or the next 2 hours.
Yeah, or the next 2 hours, or the next 45 minutes, you know, that's special. Yeah. And then his process is like, John is a workhorse. Like, that's one of the things that like all of us have in common, is like our work ethic is crazy. So there's also a ton of stuff that he's done that's like a verse and a half, a hook, you know what I mean? A lot of ideas that he's just sitting on. So it's a very beautiful, creative time for King's Dream, to say the least. It's definitely a milestone point for us. First record that, you know, the pre-orders are looking amazing. The buzz, the way we're rolling it out is getting better. The national tour that's lined up to support it. It's definitely a milestone moment for us as a collective.
It's good, man.
Yeah.
It's always good when the stuff you've been pushing for starts to really come to fruition.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, man, because the timing of stuff, like I just know in my own life, like I'm an impatient person, and the timing of stuff, I'm like, man, it should have happened like 3 years ago, son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then when it happens, you're like, yeah, you know what, like this is probably better with God's timing.
And you appreciate it much more. You're so much like, for us to be at a spot, for me to be in a spot, John to be at a spot where we don't have to work jobs anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that's not like, we don't take that for granted. Like, that's really humbling. Like, that is really like, wow. Like, look at God. Like, I've dreamed of this moment, and it's here. And it ain't glitz and glam and perfect, but it's like, man.
It's a whole lot of sandwiches and water.
Yeah.
Sandwiches and water.
And creativity. You dig?
But it's beautiful. And I think we're very grateful. I think we're very excited, and I think we're ready to strike and capitalize on this moment that we have in front of us.
Yeah, I saw your first video you put out, like your first day as a full-time Christian rapper.
Yeah.
And I thought that was dope because it didn't show glitz and glamour.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, this is just the everyday grind that it takes to sustain this and do this, man.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and we want to show people reality. I think the thing that people appreciate about us is that we show them reality. We show them.
I was going to say that's always been your brand.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
We don't show you the idealistic. We don't show you how it necessarily should be. We show you what it is. We show you the vulnerability. We show you the struggle. We show you the pain. We show you everything. Yeah. And some people are like, "That's too much. You're a man of God. How could you be that way?" You know. And we're like, "Nah," because that's going to speak to us. That's going to speak to people. People may be impressed by our strengths, but they're ministered to through our weaknesses. You know, and so we're just, you know, we intentionally try to be courageous and letting it all out, almost to a fault sometimes.
Yeah, and also I think it's harmful to show people just the glitz and glamour, because then you have people wanting that and not really getting the backstory behind how you got there. So then they think confusion when they see struggle and they see testing of faith and they see, well, this wasn't how it's supposed to go, you know, because a lot of our stuff has been like, well, this is not how it's supposed to go. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, our conversations 6-7 years ago were different. You know, you know, we were talking. So it's just weird how, you know, it comes full circle and we're just here and it's like different conversations now. You know.
Yeah.